Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Clinics, with physicians, physical therapists, and trainers who treat sports and performance-related injuries, with locations across the valley. More information on services and locations at stalphonsus.org/stayactive.
In 1995, the federal government reintroduced wolves to the West. For the 30th anniversary, I embarked on a 1,000-mile journey through wolf country. I talked to the people who brought wolves back, ranchers who fought the controversial program, and experts who say wolves are in trouble again. I'm Heath Drusen, and I hope you'll listen to Howl from Boise State Public Radio and the Idaho Capital Sun. Find it everywhere you get podcasts.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. We've got a good many stories to share with you on this day. Here we go. The Trump administration's recent holdback of more than $6 billion in grants to train public school teachers and help English language learners could also hurt after-school programs in Idaho. James Dawson spoke with the founder of one such organization based in Richland.
Karma Metzler-Fitzgerald co-founded the Lincoln County Youth Center in 2021 to give kids of working parents a place to go after school and during the summer. The center offers arts and education activities for children, along with field trips around the state. Without the $140,000 grant the center has received the last 4 years, Metzler-Fitzgerald says they'll have to cut programs and staff by the end of this week. Right now, she says it's a waiting game with the feds.
And a lot of just praying and, knocking on doors of people who have donated in the past and saying, can you help us out? Otherwise, we're going to have to do something drastic, and none of us want to do that.
According to NPR, the U.S. Department of Education said the changes in administration sparked the holdbacks and that no decision on whether to cancel funding had been made. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
More than any time in recent memory, flags have been in the news time and again this year. And later today, the issue of what flags may be displayed in Boise's North End will come up before the Boise City Council. You'll remember that the Idaho legislature passed a measure limiting which flags could be flown in public spaces, particularly in Idaho's larger cities. Pride flags became the centerpiece of that debate, and that led the Boise City Council to make the pride flag an official flag in the city of Boise. And now, the city is poised to agree to a memorandum of understanding with the North End Neighborhood Association regarding the display of flags on city-owned light poles in the median of Harrison Boulevard. There is no mention of pride flags in the resolution, but the agreement would allow the North End Neighborhood Association to fly not only official state flags, but official flags of the city of Boise. And right now, that would include the pride flag. The resolution comes before the Boise City Council this evening. The debate over speeding on the Boise Greenbelt also will come before the council. There's no speed limit in a proposed ordinance, but the proposal would secure an agreement among Boise, Garden City, Eagle, Star, and Ada County law enforcement to enforce Greenbelt violations. The ordinance comes in the wake of increasing incidents of collisions and countless near misses among cyclists and pedestrians. Minutes after last Friday's Boise's 4th of July parade, roughly 200 people gathered in front of Boise City Hall to protest the Trump administration. Organized by the group 50501, the people behind the No Kings rallies, attendees denounced the president's, quote, big beautiful bill signed last week. Jamie Geary was there.
Protesters condemned cuts to social services and funding increases to ICE. Speakers like organizer Steve Bryan took turns at the open mic.
This bill will continue to gut what used to be the United States of America and move it inexorably towards a dictatorship.
Austin Kidd denounced Republicans' policies against gay and trans people.
When I hear what is spoken about the LGBTQ community by people who profess to know Jesus Christ, I am sickened.
Kidd's wife Mercedes condemned cuts to Medicaid funding, which would remove millions from the health insurance program.
With the Medicaid cuts and everything, it breaks my heart, and I just think what the future will look like if we don't have that.
Pamela Hemphill, a January 6 participant who refused a presidential pardon, was also there.
Feels like it's hopeless, that we're going to lose our democracy, but history shows us we won't if we stand together.
Roughly 2/3 of Idahoans voted for Trump in the 2024 election. Jamie Geary, Boise State Public Radio News.
In Valley County yesterday, a much-anticipated and packed public hearing regarding the Area of Impact Zone around the city of McCall. You may remember that the city of McCall wanted a larger area of impact, but Valley County commissioners want a significantly smaller one. In fact, they're proposing a nearly 97% reduction from the city's current impact area. Citizens on both sides of the issue stood before county commissioners, some in favor of the county's reduction.
Sometimes you don't get what you pay for, so.
But we are not for the impact zone. We're happy where we're at.
I know this has brought out a lot of emotion in people.
Others in favor of McCall's larger proposed impact zone.
An exclusive government model is not a good thing.
When I think about what's happening on 55, what comes to mind is a line from a Joni Mitchell song, which is pave paradise, put up a parking lot.
I find this terrifying. The agreement with the city of McCall keeps a stricter zoning of the city in place around the lake.
The hearing took up 2.5 hours. Valley County commissioners said they'll take the issue up again on July 23rd. Hundreds of thousands of miles of barbed wire crisscross our region. It is there to contain cattle, but where ranching has declined, much of the steel fencing no longer has a purpose. The Mountain West News Bureau's Rachel Cohen reports on a group taking it down.
About 10 people in yellow safety vests line the woods along a highway in Evergreen, Colorado, in the foothills near Denver. Clippers in hand, they're snapping the sharp metal lines of an old fence. These are the barbed wire warriors. Patty Brown is leading the volunteer group. She says this fence was for ranching, but now there are mostly houses and parks here. The warriors got a permit from the state transportation agency to remove it because it's falling apart and dangerous for animals like elk.
The mamas will go through and then the babies will try to follow, but they can't jump the fence, or it's not small enough for them to go under.
More bridges and underpasses are going up in our region to help wildlife avoid cars, but they're expensive and can't go everywhere. So to Brown, taking down old fences is a small way to keep migrations intact. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Rachel Cohen.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. To stay in touch with the news, check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org or download the free Boise State Public Radio app. And thanks for listening.